Hello there, it's Winnie here and still with another reaction video. So guys, I changed my name into Winnie React. I'm still identifying myself with a reaction video and I feel that's more better. And we're back. And now guys, today I want us to react to a clip I saw about 10 richest beggars in the world. Like richness and begging, those are two contradicting ones. But I've heard stories that you see people begging in these streets but you could be paying rent in their properties. So kumbe hizi vitu they happen not only in Kenya but in other worlds. And I was like, manzi, you can't be begging at the same time you're rich. Sasa how? Anyway guys, let's check this clip and let me just tell you one thing. You see these people, some of them, they're living in posh areas. Tuseme, if I can identify the areas, I googled those areas. If we can identify those areas with Kenya, maybe the likes of kama Moteiga, maybe Thome, the big areas. Some own Mercedes, some have a lot of cash in their bank account. Note this, they are beggars.
Number 1. Simon Wright. Simon Wright is a professional beggar.
Note the word. Is using the word professional beggars. So they ain't doing this just a one-time thing. It means it's a thing they've been doing for such a long time. Maybe before they become professional in that thing. Yeah, you can't become a professional in a thing without doing it severally. You've been doing it. So kinda you have a profession in begging. Manze, maybe we don't know. This country should tell us if there's a degree they attend to beg.
The 37-year-old London man spends at least 8 hours each day and extra time on the weekends standing on the street of London begging for money.
8 hours in a day. 5 to 4. 8 hours in a day. That's like no normal working hours in an office and extra time during the weekend. So it's ni kama job tu kama zingine.
He dresses in ratty clothes and he walks with his dog. His area of choice is next to a NatWest cash point that is close to a railway station. Each day, thousands of commuters walk by and give him money.
When you hear the word profession, there is some kind of knowledge. Because now this man, he goes and sits in, that's an ATM, looks like an ATM. The ATMs now in Kenya. And when you're withdrawing your cash, maybe and you feel like, please 50 bob, let me just throw it to someone. That's being bright.
He makes about £50,000 per year. Each night he goes home to his £300,000 flat in Fulham. Begging on the streets of West London pays really well. Number 2. Aisha. Aisha was a 100-year-old woman who spent her days panhandling in the town of Jeddah. She was blind, and for years she would sit on the street in tattered clothing begging people for money. People would see this old blind woman on the streets, and they would feel bad. When she put out her tin cup, the people passing by had no problem putting money in, trying to help the homeless woman. When she passed away, it turned out that she wasn't as poor as she wanted everyone to think. When she got sick, she gave her will to a friend.
That's the thing with begging. I always ask myself, see, people are always passing by all time. The street is so congested. People always come by. Now, when that thing you're holding fails, how do you and feel like you pour that money into those coins somewhere and then you return the cup again with nothing? That they can trick in that, because I always wish to find a beggar and filling that cup and then returning it back, but I've never seen that. I don't know which trick. That's why they are called professional beggars. It needs some wisdom.
And asked him not to read it until she had passed. When she died and her will was read, it turned out that she has Saudi Riyal 3 million in cash, which is the equivalent of 800,000 US dollars.
800 what?
She also had Saudi Riyal 1 million worth of jewelry, which is the equivalent of 200
jewels from, or people are still donating, and they are expensive jewels.
$26,000 US. She even owned 4 buildings in the Al Balad district of Jeddah.
People will be begging on the street. You will be dropping your 10 bob, your 2 bob, but you will be paying rent in their properties. Someone should tell me, we just go and beg.
Left all of her assets to the homeless people that she knew from the streets. Number 3. Sambaji Kale. Sambaji Kale doesn't have a traditional job. He and his family of 4 spend their days
So you
begging.
see this one decided to recruit all the family members. Maybe he did it for 1 to 2 years and felt, this is a business opportunity. Let me recruit everyone. We do it like a family business. Why not?
Begging for money. He lives in Mumbai, where apparently begging can be very profitable. After a day of begging, the family is able to bring home 1,000 rupees. The family has managed to save 40,000 rupees in the bank, and they have a few thousand rupees in investment companies. At the end of the day, they retire to either their flat in Virar or one of their 2 houses in
They don't
Solapur.
have at one place of living. They are flat in somewhere viral. It's not, I don't know how expensive it could be, but it's a good place, and 2 other houses. So it means they ain't poor, but how they manage to look poor, how they manage to look, they don't have like weak and old manzi.
Number 4. Krishna Giri. Krishna Giri is another beggar from Mumbai. He spends his days begging at his favorite spot at CP Tank near the Charni Road. He dresses in rags so that he can appear very poor. However, he makes more money each day than many of the people who give him money. Each day, he makes about 1,500 rupees. When he is done panhandling for the day, he heads home to the flat that he owns in Nalasopara. Number 5. Owen Corey. Owen Corey is a 97-year-old man from New York City. For the last 17 years, he has been walking up and down 35th Street in Manhattan panhandling. He hasn't always been a panhandler. For years, he had an acting and comedy career. He has even performed alongside legends including Jackie Gleason and Woody Allen. He lives in a house that is worth $3.5 million. It is located in the East Midtown section of Manhattan.
$5 million. Please, Kenyans. Not, this is not in shillings, but dollars times 100. Hiyo ni runda.
Collects to a charity in Cuba that buys medical supplies for children. He invests some of his money in newspapers that he sells on the street. This is the money that he lives on. Number 6. Laxmidas. Laxmidas spent 44 years begging near Hatibagan, which is a busy road junction in northern Calcutta. She was only 16 years old when she started panhandling. She spent very little of the money that she received to support herself her whole life. When she was 60 years old, she went to the bank and deposited 200 pounds of coins that filled 4 buckets. Number 7. The unidentified man on the street. A person was walking down the street and took a photo of this man and his daughter panhandling. The pair appears dirty and they are in tattered clothes. The young girl is wearing her father's jacket to keep warm. If you look closely at her pocket, you can see a set of keys to a Mercedes.
These ones were begging, but they had a key that belonged to a very big car. Okay, not a very, but a good car, a Mercedes, and they were begging on the streets. Like, someone should tell me that in Kenya we don't have beggars who own Mercedes, because manze, I can stop giving, because no.
Number 8. Will Anderson. Will Anderson is a 43-year-old former stagehand from New York City. He spends his days with his 9-year-old dog, Rizzo, begging for money. His favorite spots are near the Grand Central Terminal and on East 42nd Street between Vanderbilt and Madison Avenue. He sits on the street with his dog and a sign that reads, "Spare change for me and my pooch."
Do you see those changes that you feel like these are pocket change you tip to the customers and the waiters in the hotel? That is the change that this man is asking for. And mind you, how many people will pass there in a day?
According to Anderson, he makes about $200 per hour. That is a pretty good salary for someone who does nothing all day.
1 hour.
Number 9. Gary Thompson. Gary Thompson is originally from Texas, but he now lives in Lexington, Kentucky. He gets around in a wheelchair, which he says he needs because he has difficulty walking. He even has trouble using his hands. What most people don't know is that he pretends to be mentally and physically handicapped so that he can earn money panhandling.
In
He
Kenya,
says that
there's
he
one, they pretend to be to be deaf, blind, they can't walk, but in real sense they can hear, they can walk, they can talk.
makes up to $100,000 each year begging for money on the streets. Number 10. Masu. Masu is a beggar from India. Each morning he takes an auto rickshaw to his favorite begging spot. When he gets there, he changes his clothes and spends 8 to 10 hours a day begging for money before heading back
You're
home.
giving to a
He says
beggar,
that he
but
makes
that beggar is
1,500
richer
rupees
than you.
and he is a
I'm not
millionaire.
jealous, but I'm kind
Most
of
people who
jealous.
give him money while he is
How can
begging
we
have
be
no
giving
idea
to
that his
people who
net
are
worth
rich?
is higher
I
than
don't know how I
theirs.
can say it,
He
but
says that panhandling requires long
does it
days,
happen
but it
that
is worth
most
it.
beggars are rich than
Subscribe for
rich
more.
than us? Because I'll stop giving to beggars. If they are rich than us, why should I be giving to them? It means, Basi, I'm working overdue, I'm working overtime, and 35 bob, 10 bob, they're going to invest that money anyway. No, you don't know. There's some of the beggars who are so real with themselves, they'll be begging and they have nothing. But there's other professional beggars who are begging, but they have so much. They have invested in this world. I guess you just need some knowledge in everything you do. I guess don't just do a thing. I don't know how to say it. I don't know. Sijui. People will be here starting begging family companies, registered begging companies, and making millions. Yeah. Anyway, guys, see you on my next episode. Remember to subscribe.